If all of the kings had their queens on the throne, we would pop champagne and raise a toast.
Hi guys! Today, we will talk about the biomolecules that are present in the dishes of Australia. Before we start, I am Mariel and I will be your virtual food presenter for today. Both Aussie Burger and Fair Bread contain the same biomolecules, namely carbohydrates, lipids, and proteins. First, let's talk about the carbohydrates. Carbohydrates are known as the saccharides and the most abundant biomolecules here on Earth. To recognize how carbohydrates function in living cells, we must understand their chemical structures. The structure of carbohydrates determines how energy is stored in carbohydrate bonds during photosynthesis and how breaking these bonds releases energy during cellular respiration. Carbs is an organic compound mostly made up of carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. It can be represented in a formula of CnH2ON. The ratio of carbon to hydrogen to oxygen is 1:1. The carbohydrate has three classifications. The first one will be the monosaccharides. The monosaccharides has three examples: the glucose, the fructose, and the galactose. Monosaccharides are simple sugars. The number of carbons usually ranges from 3 to 7. If the sugar has an aldehyde group who has a functional group with the structure of RCHO, it is known as an aldose. And if it has a ketone group with a functional group with the structure RCOR, it is known as a ketose. The second one is the disaccharides. The examples of disaccharides are the lactose, the sucrose, and the maltose. Disaccharides happen when two monosaccharides undergo a dehydration reaction. During this process, the hydroxyl group of another monosaccharides combines with the hydrogen of another monosaccharides, releasing a molecule of water and forming covalent bond. The third and the last one is the polysaccharides. It's a long chain of monosaccharides linked by glycosidic bonds. The chain may be branched or unbranched, and it may contain different types of monosaccharides. Starch, glycogen, and cellulose, and chitin are primary examples of polysaccharides. Now let's talk about lipids. Lipids are fats which may be saturated or unsaturated, can be healthy, but serve important functions for plants and animals. A fat molecule has two components, which is the glycerol and the fatty acids. Glycerol is an alcohol with 3 carbons, 5 hydrogens, and 3 hydroxyl, while the fatty acids are attached to each of the 3 carbons of glycerol molecule with an ester bond through the oxygen atom. During the ester bond formation, 3 molecules are released. Since fats consist of 3 fatty acids and glycerol, they are also called triglycerides. Phospholipids make up the bilayer of the plasma membrane and keep membrane fluid. A phospholipid has both hydrophobic and hydrophilic component. Steroids like cholesterol play roles in reproduction, absorption, metabolism regulation, and brain activity. Lastly, proteins. Proteins consist of central carbon atom bonded to carboxyl acid, amino group, and hydrogen. Proteins serve as structural components and supports of organisms. Amino acid is the basic building block. Amino acid monomers are linked together by bonds forming the peptide chain. Peptides are biologically occurring short chains of amino acid monomers linked by bonds. The dehydration synthesis reaction connects amino acids to each other. Proteins consist of one or more peptide chains. Proteins in the body and diet are long polypeptides. For the functions and examples, the structural functions. First, for the functions is the structural function. Under this is the collagen and keratin. Collagen is the most abundant protein in mammals and gives bone and skin their strength. Keratin provides structure to hair and nails. Second is the enzymes, biological catalyst. Enzymes are organic substances that accelerate the rate of chemical reaction. These are used in digestion, releasing of energy from nutrients for fuel, triggering reaction that builds muscle and tissues. Under enzymes is amylase, enzymes that help changing of starch into sugar. It is present in human saliva and in some other mammals. They help with the digestion of foods that contain large amount of starch, like potatoes and rice. Pepsin, also under enzymes. Pepsin is an enzyme that breaks down proteins into smaller peptides. It is produced in the stomach and is one of the main digestive enzymes in the digestive systems of humans and many other animals, where it helps to digest the proteins in food. Lipase, also under enzyme. They are found in most living organisms and perform essential roles in digestion, transport, and processing of dietary lipids, fats, oils, and etc. Some may also be found in viruses. Hormones, signaling molecules and chemical messengers that are made up on one part of the body, and it is in glands, but act on cells and other parts of the body to regulate physiology and behavior. The food that we intake has biomolecules that serve a vital role in our body. It is important to be aware of what nutrients that we can benefit if we eat those foods.